Welcome back, everybody. This is the intermediate lesson for New Age piano. So let's jump into this stuff. Sorry for the delay. I was on the phone with the good people over at Comcast and the good robots over at Comcast, which we all love to hate. So this is New Age piano. This is essentially something like this is what we're going for. And it goes on and on for forever, it seems. So then let's talk about what we can change from yesterday. So hopefully it made sense yesterday that we're in the key of C. Oh, and we also need this. Thank you. So it made sense that we're in the key of C. We're playing all white note keys there. You're not going to play any of those notes. But if you were going to play the key of E, we would pick all of these notes right in here, and you just follow the exact same rules that we talked about yesterday. So we had this is all the same rules we had, just that would be in the key of E. We're going to deal today in the key of C, just like yesterday, because it is the most, it's the easiest for everybody to understand. We'll all be on the same page that way. By the way, if you are in the chat rooms for some other streaming platform other than the website, I will be getting to your questions at the end, but I'm trying to follow mostly the learnpianolive.com chat room during the broadcast. Cool. So then the key of C, 1-5-1 variations. Yesterday we talked about what to do with the left hand. Awesome. Okay. I think the point at which I lost you was this is where, yes, my brain is wanting to talk about the free market and how, what am I going to do? Go to AT&T? I've been with them. They're no better. So, 1-5-1, I believe, is where we left off. Cool. 1-5-1. If that's a 1, then that's a 2, and that's a 3, and that's what you want. So I went on a rant, and I think maybe that's when the internet shut me down. I was talking about how if you Google pretty much any cover, then the top 10 piano covers. Well, that's not the least bit annoying. So 1, 5, 1, 2, 3. Just, I want to give you a little bit of practice time in between each of these things. So then, let's go back to our PDF. That'll help. So then, 1, 5, 1, 2, 3. That's what we're going for. So if I just show you some examples of that before they cut me off again, then we would have something like to the 4 chord. Soothing. That's not the right one. That's just a one. Sure, though. So that would be like 1 5 1 5 2 5 1 5. Man, yeah, that's where this chart might come in handy. In general, putting fives every other one is kind of a thing. So like doing something like that would just deciding what you want to put on top here. You put a 1 or a 2 or a 3. So 1 5 1 5 2 5 1 5 would be one. That's the one I just did. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like we did yesterday. Or if we went, come on there. Okay. Now I'm all nervous about it. Okay, it's probably fine. It's probably gonna hold up the whole rest of the time, Jamin. Don't worry about the stream. 1 5 1 1 5 1 5 2 5 3 5 could be a thing. Okay, it says it's back. 1 5. Maybe we just record this thing ahead of time and then put this one out that way. All that's going to work just fine. So before we get cut off again, let's do right hand chord finger wiggling. So whatever chord you're on, you've got, the notes of your chord. So if we're in the C chord, 1 chord in the key of C, then we'd have that 4 chord, 5 chord. So then just like wiggling your fingers around on those chord tones for the 1 chord, maybe playing those. Like that's probably too much, playing too many notes too many times. But I'm just picking notes out of the chord, and I kind of have my hand in position, and I just wiggle my fingers around based on whatever chord I'm currently on. So I'm not really even thinking about it. I just put my hand in the position as if I was going to play the chord, and then wiggle those fingers around, and you should be able to run into some pretty cool stuff that way. And then the last thing for today is going to be octave switching, if they let me get through this whole point here without shutting down the stream again. So then it's all the same stuff, just which octave you put it in is going to make a huge difference in the sound. So most people who practice this, especially the first time around or so, are going to just kind of stay in this safe zone, maybe put their right hand up here, but you can go all the way down to here. This kind of has like a solemn, somber feel to it. Versus if I take that up an octave. This sounds just like more normal piano-ish stuff. But if I take it up another octave, So that, I think, was pretty much the full range. And as you can tell, each separate range kind of has its own like unique feel and sound to it. So try taking both hands, not just one hand. Usually this thing will wander around, but this kind of gets locked into one centralized position here. So try taking this one. Down, I don't like as much. You'll notice I didn't, like that didn't really feel that was going to be too aggressive. Maybe on a Charlie Brown song or something, but even that's pretty low. So it's just too like I did that at the end, and that's about as close as I'd want another second, maybe an octave. The lower you go, generally, the more you want the notes spread out. If you get the notes too clustered together, too low, then it just sounds like sounds horrible. But if you play the exact same notes up there, like each one of those notes is perfectly distinct and hearable. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. So the farther up you go, the closer together you can put the notes. The farther down you go, the more you need to spread them all out. Cool. But fortunately, this 1-5-1 pattern is pretty spread out anyway, so you don't have to do much to that until you get down in. Maybe that'd be like as low as I'd go with that pattern. Anyway, so there are some ideas and the homework, and surely I have missed something important in here with all the distraction of the stream. But let's go ahead and try to do our wrap up and see if I can run into it there and ask your questions so that I can hear from you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, we might just pre-record this thing. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on there. I'm checking out my CPU. Seems to be working just fine. But yeah, the stream is a pain. So then our let's go back here. The 1-5-1 variations. We just talked about how we're going to take the exact same concepts from yesterday and add in the 2 and the 3 in pretty much any order that you want. In general, you want to keep, again, that pinky on beat 1 like we talked about yesterday. Don't change that. So right here on 1, make sure you play a 1. But after that, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Alternating between the 5, every other one, putting the 5 on the ands, in other words, is kind of a thing. So that's important. But you can definitely break that rule. Like those would all sound great, and those kind of broke the rule of having the 5 on the ends. So yeah, but a suggestion to help you get started. Then we talked about the right hand chord finger wiggling, where you just got to kind of sit on a chord shape from whatever chord you've selected, and then just kind of pick those notes out. You don't really have to think about it; those just all work. All just like, I'm not thinking about the notes. I'm just got my hand in a position and I play the chord tones that are underneath there. And then we talked about switching octaves and experimenting with the sounds of the timbres of different octaves up here, things being really fragile. Kind of like right in here is for me kind of the sweet spot of like, these are nice, pretty, but don't demand to end the song. Like by the time I get up into here, like, that just sounds like the end of the song to me. I don't feel like I can go anywhere. But when I'm in here, you know, I feel like this could be the beginning or the middle or the end of the song, and I could still like come down here and do stuff. But once I get too far up here, then I'm kind of dead. It's just kind of the end of the song. Same thing with the extreme low end. But as we talked about with rhythms, how you'd be surprised how quickly and how slowly both you can take a song when you're covering it and have it really sound like a really super decent song. Same is going to be true here. So experiment with really low end stuff and really high end stuff. Cool. Well, then, let's get to our feature of the day, and then we'll get to your questions. And, yeah. So our feature of the day is a website. I found this one when I was trying to create playlists of songs that were all in the same key, because I wanted to, for example, have students practice all in the key of C. But then what songs are in the key of C? Well, with the key finder, you can do that. So you can just go to key finder, and then you can find songs that are in the key of C major, for example, and then it will list for you songs in C major. There we go. It's not the most intuitive website in the world, but it will give you a list of songs that are, these are all like user generated for what I can tell. So just like with Ultimate Guitar or any of those other user submitted websites, it's about like 80 to 90% right. So it's pretty good for free. And occasionally you'll run into one that's not really in the key that they say that it's in. But they do kind of try to give you the listing of like how many people thought that it was in that key, so that if it's just one or two, then they might be right, they might be wrong. So anyway, that way you can practice whatever key you're working on. Trying to get into, especially if you're in the like Clapple Academy level 3 or so, and you're starting to really play in those flat keys a lot, B flat and E flat and A flat and stuff like that. Then you can just play these songs that you know, and then practice along in the keys, just getting really comfortable with moving around within a certain key. So again, that's songkeyfinder.com, unless the stream isn't working right now, in which case then it's just wait for the recorded lesson, I guess. Okay, that's our feature of the day, and now it's time for your questions. And yes, I'm going to skip over comments from people who can't see, because not blind people. That's fine. If you're blind, ask your questions. But from people who are unable to view the stream. Okay. Question number 1. What 1-5-1 variation should I start with? 1-5-1. I assume if you're asking for variations, you've already got 1-5-1 down. Should definitely start with that one. After that, man, it's hard for me to just pick one. That's probably the next most common one. 1-5-1 2 3. That, yeah. That one would be common too, though. I'd say this: before you start putting them out of order, just picking random notes, put them in order. So 1-5-1 2 3, or 1-5-1 5-2 5-3 5. Hopefully that seemed like that was in order. That was in order, but I put a 5 in between each of them. Okay, as opposed to like something like, or something like that, which is a perfectly fine vamp, but it puts it out of order. Unless you really liked the sound of that, in which case you'll be motivated to practice it. And that's the one you should start with. Whatever one you think sounds pretty. Next. How do you know which notes to hit in your right hand? Okay, so the right hand is just going to be notes from the chord, which we talked about yesterday. In yesterday's lesson. Yeah. I'm just picking notes out of the chord that we're playing at the moment. Your play-along track just goes back and forth between the C chord, and the F chord. So during the C chord, I'm playing C's, E's, and G's. And during the F chord, I'm playing F's and A's and C's. And for more details on that, I would go back and check out yesterday's lesson, because we spent quite a bit of time explaining that. But those aren't the only chords that you could use, though. You could also throw in other chords, which we also discussed yesterday. So yeah, all the right hand is based on the chord. If I didn't answer your question, let me know. I still don't understand how I'm supposed to use this if I'm not playing at a banquet. Okay. So it's just it's background music. I think someone yesterday called it mood music. And for some people, it's enjoyable. They just like the sound of just having something going, and they like the outlet of being able to like play, create something that's not awful-ish. just sit down and like just hang out like that for a while. But if you don't enjoy that, then this is not the right style for you. So I enjoy sitting down and playing jazz, and I that feels good to me, and it's a challenge, and it's a lot of fun. But if I didn't like jazz, I probably wouldn't play it. So if you don't like the way that any of this stuff sounds, if it all sounds stupid to you, then don't do it. Move on to a different lesson. I'm sorry for wasting so much of your time. These style lessons all kind of center around a style, and if you're not one to play that style, I can't do much to change that for you without changing the style. Maybe there's another. I still don't understand how I'm supposed to use this if I'm not playing a banquet. Yep. No. If what I'm playing doesn't sound like, yeah, I'd like to be able to do that, then I think that's what the whole lesson is. Okay, let me check and see if we have any angry viewers on any other streams. No, they're all happy or have left. Well then, I guess it's time for me to do the same. Until next time, which is not tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be bumping the stream to Thursday. Hopefully the stream will be much stronger then. So Thursday at 11 o'clock, check out the countdown on the website for details on that. And until then, or whenever the next time is, know that I love you. Good luck. Have fun.